to a short video on how to start a game of Siege of Shanghai Conquest. It goes for both Conquest Small and Conquest Large, and it is based around the tank, as a lot of my videos have been recently. So in the background you will see a couple of diagrams alongside some of the gameplay, sort of showing you whereabouts I like to drive to and stop, especially if I'm playing on the Chinese side, as the first half of this gameplay is going to show. So what I like to do first of all, whether I'm playing on Conquest Small or Conquest Large, is drive to that flag you just saw there. I then like to stop on the end, just have a look to the side and sort of lead the line for my team, making sure that flag is capped. Then what I like to do is push onto the central area next to the skyscraper. Then what you can do is either pick the left hand road if there's a lot of armor coming towards you, or possibly a helicopter, and then stay on the main road if there's nothing pushing towards you. In this case, I was lucky enough to drive onto the bridge all the way up at this point before actually meeting the enemy tank. On Conquest Small, remember, there is only one tank per team and then one extra one available if the skyscraper falls down. Now you can see in the background as well, I've put two little yellow dots on the screen. They are very good positions on the right hand side if you're attacking for the Chinese side to hide behind if you find yourself being suppressed quite a lot by an enemy tank who's quite a decent aim, or some RPGs or javelins. Then what you can do is, in this position right here on the bridge, if you take the right hand side of the bridge, you've got yourself covered from the left hand side from anybody who might have an RPG or something. Then you can just push backwards and forwards, trying to get an angle on the enemy tank. Once you've done so, in that case I think the helicopter got the final shot on him, you can push forward and start to pick off any enemies that will be on Alpha. Hopefully if you've got a decent helicopter pilot on either Conquest Small or Conquest Large, they'll have taken the skyscraper for you, so you won't really have to worry about being shot in the back. But just in case, make sure that you've got a gunner on you who can just keep an eye behind you. As you can see now in the background, I've just got a nice position here where I can take down any enemies, and making sure that I keep an eye to my right and in front of me where they're going to be spawning. As you can see in the diagram that I've got on screen now, the green spots are where the majority of the enemies will be spawning, as long as they have Alpha capped. As I mentioned before, careful you don't take a shot from behind, especially with enemies peeking from underneath this flag. It's quite a difficult one to cap if there's a lot of infantry down there. So bearing that in mind, with the tank you can actually go down into this flag, as long as you're careful the way you go around the corner. Make sure you don't get C4'd or slammed or anything like that. And then if there's a helicopter also and you can't get down under Alpha, you can go underneath the big building to the side of it that I've highlighted there in the yellow. There's also a really nice spot you can just hide in there and protect yourself from any incoming enemy fire. What I like to do then is just push forward and not exactly push the enemies back into their base, but just make sure there's no struggling enemies that could straight away push onto that flag. And then you've pretty much done it, and you have essentially started the game very strong for your team. And especially on Conquest Small, you'll find yourself winning these matches very, very quickly if that's the approach that you choose to take. Coming from the other side, the US side, I like to pretty much keep the same technique for the whole round, moving onto the bridge and then making sure I deal with the enemy armor before pushing onto Charlie flag, or in Conquest Large I think it's Delta. So once you have actually got to this point, there's a very nice spot on the side that I haven't really used too much, but it's one that you are very well protected, and you can get an angle up onto the roof, which is a really difficult flag to capture if you haven't got any air support or anybody up on the roof, because you can actually cap it from on top of the glass little platform or the roof. So picking up this position in the tank, you can pick off any enemies that are up there. You're also protected from, behind you. Enemies aren't going to spawn there. They might spawn to the left of you behind the pillars, or the right, but they're very easy to take down, especially with an AP shell, and just get all the splash damage off the walls. Again, I've highlighted in the background a nice little spot you can pick up on the near the skyscraper. You've got a lot of cover from things in front of you. I think there's also a tow launcher there if you had a gunner who could jump out and use that to have a shot at an enemy tank. And you can aim across and pick off enemies from the Chinese side that are coming out of their spawn and maybe looking to get across the water to cap the skyscraper or your flag at your base, the Alpha flag. This also works for Conquest Large, but remember that vehicles will be spawning on Echo and Alpha on Conquest Large, so you're going to have two more tanks to deal with. So it's very often you'll find yourself getting shot in the back. So it's always very beneficial to have yourself a gunner in this situation. As always, I like to run with the engineer class, so both me and a gunner if I've got one, and then preferably the AP shell and the HMG, although sometimes it might be more beneficial to go for an HE shell if you're dealing with more pieces of enemy armor. But on Conquest Small, an AP shell's just fine because there's only usually one enemy tank that you have to deal with. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. It's just a short one on how I like to approach Siege of Shanghai on Conquest. If you want to see some more videos like this, just leave a like down below. I'm planning to do a similar video for Dawnbreaker and for Road Transmission. They'll probably be on Conquest Large, not Conquest Small. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.